Okay, there you are. Welcome back. I'd like to take this opportunity to discuss the model of classroom management that is created by Harry and Rosemary Wong. There's a reason why they are the first model that I expose my students to. They are the foundation that is built on by virtually every other model of classroom management. It picks up with the Wongs and then builds on top. They are the foundation of the pyramid. Pick whatever analogy you like. For me, my analogy is that Harry and Rosemary Wong are at the top of Mount Olympus. They are the god and goddess, the guru of classroom management. Without an understanding, without an exposure, without an appreciation for their work, you are incomplete as a teacher. The Wong's history-making book is very simply entitled The First Days of School. And that's where they focus. That's how tight their focus is. The first 2 weeks, literally, of school. But they tell you in order to prepare for that first 2 weeks, you need to spend the 2 weeks before that. You cannot prepare and deliver at the same time. You're doomed. So they take it to the point of urging that brand new teachers sit down before they ever walk into the classroom and literally script what they're going to say for the first 2 weeks when they're discussing routines, when they're discussing procedures, and I'm going to add the third one, when they're discussing expectations. The Wongs want you to be as prepared as is remotely possible for the first 10 days, 2 weeks, 10 days of school. For those of you who are just now in your first semester of teaching, you know what those first 10 days were like. And they were full of panic. They were full of frustration. They were full of self-doubt and failure. And the Wongs are saying, okay, maybe we can take the edge off of some of those a little bit by having you be prepared. So when that first little kid raises his hand, that first little second grader raises his hand and said, Miss Johnson, I have to go to the bathroom. You're prepared. You don't freak out and go, oh my God, what do I do now? So their book is filled with roster after roster, checklist after checklist, step after step on how to do everything. Think of it as the Julia Childs of classroom management, okay? Only with the voices much more acceptable. And they take you through, all right, what is the routine I need to discuss with my class? Not once, not twice, maybe 3 times, maybe once a day for each of those 10 first days. Discuss the routine on going to the bathroom. Discuss the routine on getting a drink and washing your hands after returning from recess. Discuss the routine on lining up outside the classroom before you enter. Discuss the routine on what does bell work mean? What does it look like? What do you do? You see what I'm saying here? So the Wongs are saying, you have this formatted, or adopted from our book, and you be versed in this. You write it out. There's another way for you to learn it. You write it out, and then when your students are actually out there on the other side of that classroom, you read it, or you have it memorized, even better, and you are prepared to go. There's this incredible quote that I picked up from their book, and it's so obvious, but every once in a while we just need to be shaken to our very core with what is obvious so that we can replant those things. And pardon me for reading it, but I want to get it right. The most important factor in learning is the teacher. The more capable the teacher, the more successful the student. Now that's a beautiful piece of prose, but it's also frightening, because for those of you who are brand new to teaching, that defines the critical essence of what you do, what you are, and what you must continue to be in the classroom. Knowledgeable, competent, capable, and thrown in with a little bit of magical. All right? That's what you need to do, need to be. I'm a great one for using analogies, because to me it simply makes a point. And the analogy here is that brand new teachers walking into the classroom unprepared, effectively thinking that these are 18 first graders. How much trouble can this be? Or these are 22 third graders. They've already been in school for 4 years. They know what to do, right? Or it's 32 seventh graders. Well, maybe I didn't choose this grade level, but I'm going to make it work. And we can do this. We can do this. But no, you can't. And let me tell you why you can't. And this isn't intended to hurt. This isn't intended to bruise. This isn't intended to inflame. It's intended to be bare guts honest. You can't do that because you lack the talent, you lack the background, and you have no baseline from which to begin. But the good news is the cavalry is here, and it's Harry and Rosemary, because they've foreseen this need to begin at the very essence of the beginning and build it from there. During those first 10 days, the Wongs make the statement, don't even think about introducing content. You're covering routines, procedures, and then I add expectations, and then you go back the next day and you cover those again, and then Wednesday you cover those again, and then you do some role modeling, and then you get the kids involved, and you present every variance of what you want to apply in your classroom during those first 2 weeks. Because your hope is, and the plan is, that after that you won't have to do it again. Unless you get a new student, of course. One of my favorite quotes from the Wongs is, Harry Wong says this. He says, don't even think about smiling until after Christmas. Think about that. Now, I taught 7th grade, and I was known for being a highly structured, high expectation teacher. And I did my level best to not smile until after Christmas. And why does he say this? Because he wants to raise a cadre of mean, nasty, terrible teachers? No, heck no. Because his point is that you need to build that first semester, the structure, the expectations, the routines, and you need to focus so much on that that you don't want to back off until earliest after Christmas. Okay, that's the Wongs in a nutshell. Once again, grab a copy of their book, The First Days of School, put it in your professional library, read it, reread it, reread it, take it on vacation, take those first 2 weeks of school in advance, the first 2 weeks in advance of 2 weeks of school, and outline, map, script your routines and how you will present them. Remember, you are the most important person in the classroom. Your students' success is totally dependent upon you. Okay, those are some rather sobering things to put on your plate. Think about them, revisit them. Now we need to get you back to class.